What's good, everybody? This is Fast Break here, live for Ice Sports Radio. You're the read for sports. I'm one host of you, the host, the Crooks process here tonight. D-Locke will be here next week after his sabbatical, so prayers to him. But on tonight's show, this deep dive into the tournament, men's and women's. You know, who comes on, who's strong so far, who's not so strong so far in the tournament, and how the number one seeds, especially on the men's side. Who's got the best odds to win the championship after this first weekend? We'll dive into that. Also dive into live talk during the games that are going on later on tonight. Colorado State, Maryland, Alabama, St. Mary's going on right now, and the nightcap as well. Lots to talk about, lots to get into here tonight as far as the NCAA tournament as well. Maybe a sliver of the NBA talk as well. So we'll talk about all that here tonight. But we'll talk about that after these few short messages here for the network. After that, I'll catch you on the other side. But this is Davidson Crooks here, live for Fast Break. I'll catch you on the other side.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clinking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. iSports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, iEsports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And what's good, everybody? Thanks for tuning in with me with Fast Break here tonight. I'm one host, you co-host. Yes, I got a haircut. Last time you seen me. Davidson Crooks here representing for Fast Break. Dentarius Locke will be back with us next week. Praying for you, brother. Hope everything's just stay strong. That's all I gotta say. So he'll be back here next week. Lots to talk about here tonight. Lots to talk here on the show. Right now, I am watching Alabama trying to close out the win against St. Mary's here. And you got Fine with a possible goaltend on the fast break. There's above the cylinder, the St. Mary's defender. I don't know. Looks like a clean block. Well, never mind. It was above the cylinder. So, it looked like a clean block. Before I get back to the game and stuff like that, talk about our latest sponsor here in the network, GetRawNutrition.com. Go to Raw Nutrition Supplements. Go to GetRawNutrition.com. Use that promo code ISR for 10% off. Hey, everybody like a little deal off here and there, like a hookup. So go to Get Raw Nutrition. Find what you're looking for: supplements, weight loss pills, even gear. Whatever you're looking for, go to Get Raw Nutrition Supplements. Go to that website. Use that promo code IESR for 10% off. Anybody can get a little helping nowadays, especially in this economic time, and God knows how it's going to be. So go to GetRawNutrition.com and use that promo code right there, IESR10. Also, down there, the score right there. The ticker right there. Do give support here at iSports Radio, especially here as Fast Break. Go to that website right there, Spreaker Podcast /Fast Break, and it's only like $5 a month. So it's your support. We'll probably put exclusive content there. Give thoughts on deep meaning or other things that we don't normally give on the show right here. So go to that link right there, Spreaker.com/podcast/Fast Break. That's our code right there. Give support, $5 a month. Ain't the worst thing in the world. I know everybody's budget's kind of tight, but here we're the best basketball network, I believe, talking the good stuff. So give us a little support right there at that link right there. Do follow us at the page right here on Twitter /X Fastbreak ISR. We've been tweeting heavily about the NCAA Tournament. Heavenly. Along right here, along this iSports Radio network right there. So all the links right there, the iSportsRadio.com. I'll link right here, Fast Break. Catch the shows on all the networks here. Apple Podcast, Spreaker, TikTok, IR Radio, Google, Amazon, whatever you find your stuff on, we're there and popping for you. Now, quick thoughts on the weekend for the men's side of things. Just give my quick thoughts right now. I'm kind of buzzing in between the Alabama St. Mary's game. Alabama's up 78-63 against St. Mary's. And I knew coming to this matchup with St. Mary's, it's gonna be a tough one. Tough one in meaning like, they're gonna play slow ball. They're gonna post you up. They're gonna try and wear you out. And then, the contract styles of them using pick and roll, trying to get good stuff down low. And Alabama, up and down the court, if it's not a layup, it's a 3-point shot. That type of style, like two different styles there. I think right now it's Alabama's length and athleticism has really gotten getting to them. The driving downhill, the speed. St. Mary's, you ain't seen that type of speed unless you playing Gonzaga multiple times throughout the season. Let's be real about that. So right now, still got the ball top of the key. He got to give it Bark Seals at the top. About 2 minutes left. Sears, shot clock going down. Sears calling for the play, and it seems like the play is taking a long time to draw. Sears with the layup. Grant Nelson with the 3. Miss, but not the worst shot in the world. St. Mary's driving the ball. They got to shoot some threes. They got to shoot some threes. And there's a 3 right there for St. Mary's, and boom, it goes in. So, and, talk about this game here specifically. St. Mary's got some turnovers early on in this game. Like 8 turnovers in the first half. They got against Alabama. Like 8 turnovers. But they went down like double digits, to Alabama. They barely took in 3-point shots. And, you playing against Alabama, you got to I don't say match them per se on 3-point attempts and whatnot, but you got to keep them honest. If you ain't hitting like an outside shot here and there, and I know you're trying to work them down low and get foul trouble, I mean, it's going to be a long day for you. So, just right now, yeah, I'm looking at the stat line right now. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Hold on a second. So right now, second half, Alabama 3 turnovers in the second half. St. Mary's got 6 now. St. Mary's got 7 steals. Defensively, Alabama got 31 rebounds. 15 St. Mary's on their side. But the 3-point stat, I think that's the thing you got to look in this matchup. 7 for 17 for Alabama, 41%. 3 for 14 for St. Mary's. That's not going to cut against Alabama. I'm sorry. That's not going to cut it for them. If you thought, you can play your style and wear them down, stuff like that, it's not going to happen. When Alabama played Robert Morris on Friday, one thing that Robert Morris had a little bit was some athleticism in the front court. St. Mary's don't got that. And the clock going down. Alabama's up by 11 against St. Mary's. Holiday's dribbling the ball out. And he got the foul call. So as long as Alabama hit their free throws, I think this game is in their favor. But with another thing, about this weekend, even when teams got a double-digit lead going like late into the game, like 2-3 minutes left the game, the opposing team comes back. Go back and look. Like all these games, and I'll say most of the game came back to the wire. For the most part, Florida, UConn came down to the wire. Arkansas and St. John's came down to the wire. Even though at one point during the games, like these, UConn had a big lead, lost it. Arkansas, St. John's, big lead, lost it. Even when the team had a lead for most of the time, came back, got cut in half. Now Alabama's up by 12. And St. Mary's bringing the ball up with a minute and 10 seconds left. I'm watching this game on Max, so the game could be delayed a little bit. St. Mary's just missed a layup. And I think the coach for St. Mary's is waving the white flag. So it looks like Alabama's going to be advancing to the Sweet 16 for the third straight year under Nate Oates administration. So, as a Bama fan, I'm happy. I'm happy that, this program has found some consistency. There were times like that with Mark Godfrey, excuse me. I just think my lifetime. My God, Mark Godfrey, there's consistent times, but there should have been more. Yes, the Florida teams were strong. Those Mississippi State teams were strong back in the day. Ole Miss gave problems. Tennessee gave problems. But Alabama's there. Kentucky, of course. And I think that, at times they should have been stronger. And then Mark Godfrey got let go. You brought in Anthony Grant. I think he kind of got a job at a couple of tournament appearances, but his time was up. Now you go Avery Johnson. Could have been way better there. He had the charisma, personality to kind of thrive in college, but it just didn't work out. Now you get Nate Oates, the guy that is coming in. It's kind of like really took things by storm in Tuscaloosa. And now Alabama has to soak up the win against St. Mary's and move on to the Sweet 16 officially. So, big time win for Alabama there against St. Mary's. And I understand if folks put St. Mary's as a upset win there. I could see it, but I just think Alabama was just too strong right there. Now Alabama will go on to face BYU, who defeated Wisconsin yesterday. So if I had to guess, Alabama and BYU would be playing on Thursday because of BYU's religious, beliefs and all that stuff. They couldn't play on Friday and Sunday, stuff like that. So if I had to guess, that game will be on Thursday, probably late game Thursday, if I had to guess, because of that. So that'll be a real interesting matchup right there. Two high attack offenses going against each other in Newark. But since that game closed there, so we'll see how that shakes out on that side of things. Earlier today, Duke dismantles Baylor, and they dismantled Baylor. The score was pulled up, and thank goodness for this tournament app. They dismantled Baylor 89-66. Cooper Flagg, and thing about Cooper Flagg, I was worried about him and his ankle, and I didn't think, I was kind of worried, like, should he play the first game? Should he not? Jay Wright said before that Duke game, that first game on Friday, he kind of counterpoints Jalen Rose's comment saying, and I agree with Jalen, like, you playing that 16th seed, just sit him out, and whoever you get out of Baylor, Mississippi State, play him then, depending on how he feels. And Jay Wright kind of countered and said, hey, you kind of want him back on the court, see how he feels, how he does, all that good stuff. And then you just go from there. In which, you both guys can be correct. You want to protect your star player, your best player in your team. And then also you see on the other side of the coach's view that hey, yeah, you want to protect them, but you got to keep them in the flow and things, and not be out of sync. And I see Jay Wright's point. Okay, that makes sense. And you saw the matchup on Friday. They won that game very handily, and then on today's matchup against Baylor, won that very handily. Cooper Flagg had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. But the biggest story, Proctor, he had 2 rebounds in that matchup. 2 assists and 1 rebound in that matchup, but shot the foul very well for Duke. So, we kind of wonder about who's going to help Cooper Flagg, when he's not full strength. I think Proctor, especially against Baylor, answered the bell in that matchup here today. And right now, Duke is like really, really, I don't say coasting, but they got easy street. Now, it depends who they play next. You got Oregon, Arizona up here, tipping off here in a little bit. Former Pac-12 rivals. Now you got Oregon in Big 10, Arizona in Big 12. But that old rivalry kind of coming back, especially in the hardwood. So that'd be a really interesting matchup. Who wins between there, Oregon and Arizona? Different contrasting styles there. If I had to choose right now, I'm going Arizona just because I think they've been on a more hotter streak. Oregon, they've been real consistent all year. Started off great for the beginning of the year, kind of here, but just being consistent throughout. Arizona, kind of same boat, but they really kind of come on here late in the season, especially late February up till now. I think they'll play in their favor in today against the matchup tonight against Oregon to get them to Newark. Now, also looking around, let's see. Today's matchups, Kentucky, they get a big time win over Illinois, 84-75 over the final 9 line. And with Illinois, you have health questions coming in. Seems like everybody's came back. They handled Xavier and that storm right there with them. Sean Miller and his last game. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But, you had that matchup there. You beat them by double digits. And then the matchup with Kentucky. And I'd say this about this matchup coming in. For Kentucky and Mark Pope, you have to win this game. For Mark Pope's sake, you had to win this game. Now, somebody else saying, why are you saying that, Davidson? Because look at the pain. Well, I don't say pain, but look the past few years in the first weekend of Kentucky basketball in the tournament. Women's, they got bounced out by Kansas State today in a last-ditch effort to possibly win the game. After Friday, they struggled with Liberty. The men's side of things, for especially Mark Pope, he had to win that game. He couldn't come back, say, I lost and stuff like that. That's what they paid him for. And I think he's like one of the big winners of this weekend Mark Pope. Now you got playing against rival Tennessee here next week, but for Mark Pope and Kentucky and the injuries they dealt with and stuff like that, Cal running Cal out of town, stuff like that, and then Cal turn around with Arkansas and making the Sweet 16. I think it's just, this kind of like situation better for both sides. Cal can go to Arkansas, not have that much got expectations, but not have that much expectations like a Kentucky does. So I think for Mark Pope, it's good for him to kind of like show faith in the fan base that, okay, we potentially may have our guy here. Maybe potentially have our guy here to lead us into the future. Younger than Cal, then Cal can recruit, all that good stuff, former player, all that good stuff. So I think that's a good sign for the Kentucky faithful that Pope won this weekend. I think he was a big winner in my book, in my eyes. Now, we're going to be back against Tennessee. We'll see. But I think right now, he's a big winner right now in my eyes. Also, McNeese State upsetting Clemson 69-67. Big win for them, for McNeese State, to beat Clemson team that got to the Elite Eight last year. And I thought a lot of folks probably got to at least the Sweet 16 in our eyes. But, it didn't happen. And almost they lost the game. They had a double-digit lead, and Clemson came back on them. So, for McNeese State, they won that. And, they went against the matchup against Purdue, and they did not shoot the ball well at all. Missing layups, couldn't get outside shots going, foul trouble. And then Purdue, they was hitting their shots and stuff like that. And then I don't know what the game plan was for Will Wade and company and McNeese, but just going under the screens with the shooters that Purdue has was not a good look. You should have played them over the top, defending the ball better that way. And with the athletes they have at McNeese, you figured they would go on top of the screen and stuff like that, but they didn't do that at times. And at times, when they do that, they let the Purdue players open for the open shots. So, for McNeese, you won, but you lost. You lost the game, and also you lost your coach to NC State. And Will Wade going out to Raleigh to kind of revitalize that program. And I said here on our page here, Fast Break ISR, and with all the jobs that was opening up, I figured Will Wade would get a job here there soon. Somewhere. Florida State, Miami, they went other routes. Some of the potential bubble teams like Oklahoma, Texas, we'll talk about that more in a second. All those type of jobs opening up, potentially teams don't make the tournament. So I'm not surprised Will Wade left, and they openly talk about on the broadcast that, McNeese officials kind of knew what the plan was with this and expected this. Now, with Will Wade going to NC State, what can you do with that program? Well, I'll say a couple things here real quick. There's a team removed from the Final Four a season ago. Okay. Now, this team didn't make the tournament at all, even the ACC tournament. And I think that speaks more to the previous coach. I don't got in front of me right now, but it speaks more to him that he couldn't keep the ship going after the Final Four run. Now you get somebody in there that can possibly do that and more in a program that will offer up more resources to help him get to that goal. Now, it's going to bring all these guys from Mixed State. I doubt it. Probably a couple guys with them, but with the ACC, Virginia got a new coach, Miami got a new coach, Florida State got a new coach. I think Boston College is looking for a student coach. I don't know if they got anything hired yet, but Will leaving McNeese, going to NC State. If you get a chance to get some get good classes, good transfers, stuff like that, you could be on top of the ACC here. Duke, Carolina, depending on what happened to Herbert Davis. I don't hear anything yet. And then after that, Louisville, excuse me, I forgot about them. After that, the door's kind of open. The door's kind of open. So if you Will Wade, you get to NC State, damn dog, if I can at least keep this top 4 for a while, I'm pretty good. Could be against North Carolina, my in-state teams, North Carolina, Wake Forest, Duke. Could be against Louisville. We're pretty good. We'll see what happens with teams like Syracuse and Pitt and all that, and the new coaches in Florida State and Miami. But if I can do that, I'm good. Georgia Tech, SMU, Cal, and Stanford. That's a wait and see with me. But if I can just stay ahead of those teams, I'll be good. I'll be good. One more thought over the weekend, and I did want to talk about this. And I think one people liked about the tournament and stuff like that. And shout out to the chat room. How y'all doing tonight? Terry Rodriguez, how you doing tonight, sir? Thank you for joining with me last week. Brian Freshion, what game between UConn and Florida? Yeah, the defending 2-time champions are no more. They lose to a close battle against Florida. I think with UConn, it's a young team, but I think sometimes the coaching antics got in their way sometimes. So hopefully Dan Hurt, I don't think he can change. I don't think he's going to change. But I think, he'll kind of take a step back a little bit. So, okay, what can I do differently to get this team over the hump? You know what I'm saying? And, at one point they're trying to come back in those late seconds and stuff like that. And he's like just drawing the refs and stuff like that. Like, dude, y'all trying to make a comeback and you possibly might be getting teed up here. I mean, if you're going to go out of the bang like that, go out of the bang like that. But, man, don't neuter your team when they're trying to make a comeback against Florida. And he damn near did that. So, I don't – great game. Great job by Florida, team I got picked to win the national championship. But, if you're UConn, I think you get most of your guys back. If I was him, you got to get a big that can shoot the ball. And, what I saw against who they played against Oklahoma, the big man, what's that kid's name? Reed. That's I don't know what he teaches these big men, but that's basketball man practice there. At one point, Reed, at couple possessions, had the ball free throw line for at least good 15 seconds, just waiting to hand the ball off somewhere, some way. And he never took a free throw shot. Like, you work on your free throws and stuff like that. if I can't have confidence as a player that you hit a 15-foot jumper, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here? Why are you big man at the free throw line just holding the ball, scared of back and couldn't do nothing with it? Dribble, nothing. He didn't do nothing. Just holding, moving his pivot foot. That's bad basketball to me. That's bad basketball. That a big man can't turn, face the basket, and hit a shot at the free throw line. If I was Oklahoma or somebody or assistant on Oklahoma bench during that game, say, hey, if we get late in these fools, hey, that fool in the game, hey, we gotta stop fouling him. So for UConn, you know, they skated by Oklahoma, a team that I didn't think deserved to be in the tournament, but they made the game pretty competitive. And you know, to come to Florida, they gave Florida all they can give, but I think Florida's made enough outside shots towards the end there, to win that game. So that's on that game. And then T5, they're great. Said ball night, what's good? It's balling season. Shout out to Benny Steve repping the boot. Have a great show, bro. Thank you, sir. Yeah, a lot about my McNeese. I think. Let me ask you this, T5. And I know you're from that area. What should McNeese do after Will Lake? Should they grab a next up and comer and just be like programmed to do that way, or be like a cast off for coaches who do shady shit? What if you're still in the stream somewhere? Like, let me know, because what Will did in 2 years there, you can do something there and McNeese. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can say that forever, but I mean you can put some scare in people's eyes and stuff like that. That hopefully you can build something there. That's just my opinion. And the transfer portal, all that type of stuff, NIL, but mainly transfer portal. If you can do that, I mean, you can do a lot of things. So if you can chat, just ask that question for me when you get a chance. But to kind of summarize my weekend thoughts, the Cinderella upsets didn't happen because I think the stronger seeded teams would be pretty strong, men's and women's. Colorado beat Memphis, but always that 5-12 matchup is like always kind of like here, there. You know what I'm saying? But for the upset type of thing, besides this team here to kind of struggle against Robert Morris, we're in too much upset alert too much. I mean, Alabama State gave Auburn a scare, but they turned the Jets on that second half. Creighton kind of gave them a scare, but they kind of turned it on in the second half, if I remember correctly. So, for the upsets, Cinderellas, and people kind of what they gravitate towards the tournament for, it's not going to happen too much. It's not going to happen too much, especially this thing in college basketball, and especially in the men's side of things with transfer portal and stuff like that. The women's going to take a while. And we saw in the first round of the women's, just beat downs galore. I barely tweeted about it. I'm like, damn, no one sees supposed to do what they're supposed to do. UConn supposed to beat down Arkansas State like the fuck they did. UConn, same thing. I mean, UConn, USC, same thing. South Carolina, same thing. Texas, same thing. Men's side, I mean, you're going to have a little more struggle because of the gap right there that's changed over the men's side for the past 10 years. But the one seed's handling your business. Handling your damn business. So I went long, But I'm going to take my first break here. On the other side of things, which of the number 1 seeds have the best chance to win the championship? So think about that. So out of number 1 seeds that are left, all of them are still in play. Houston, Florida, Auburn, and Duke. Who's got the best chance to win the championship? But this is Fast Break here, live for iSports Radio. You're the Reform Sports. And I'll catch you on the other side.
How we doing, sports fans? This is Christian Harvey, your host of Gritsville, USA, your go-to show for all things Detroit and Michigan here on iSports Radio. Whether you're here for Gritty Lions talk, getting pumped up for the great Detroit sports renaissance, or hating on your neighbor depending on if they were green or blue, we got you covered. Whether you're in the East, West, or Central, we got you covered. Join me as we tackle through all that the great state of Michigan has to offer in the world of sports. Catch me, Christian Harvey, each week on Gritsville, USA, right here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What does he want on the head?
Hey, yo, what's good, Georgia? It's your boy ACS, and if you love sports from the Peach State as much as I do, then Georgia Sports Central is your one-stop destination for down south sports, courtesy of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you a yellow jacket at heart, or do you bleed the red and black of the Bulldogs? Do you keep it true to Atlanta with Trae Young, Capella, and the boys? Do you rise up with the Dirty Birds on Sundays? Are you excited to see what the future holds for Michael Penix Jr., Bijan, and the rest of the Falcon squad? Do you live at 755 Battery Avenue? Do you rep for Albies, Acuna, and the rest of Braves country? If so, then let's get united every Wednesday for some Braves, Hawks, UGA, Georgia Tech, Atlanta Dream, Falcons, and more on Georgia Sports Central, only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back here to Fast Break here, live for iSports Radio. You're the week for all sports. And that last drop y'all just heard, our Georgia Sports Central show. Let me say this. Going back to my quick thoughts of the weekend. Georgia did not belong in that damn tournament. Like, it showed early on against Gonzaga, and they got mollywopped. And you know, I think the SEC hype thing really got blown up and kind of really, you know, it really kind of just blew up in their face in a sense because Texas, you know, they went toe-to-toe against Xavier, but, you know, at one point they had Xavier beat and they let Xavier come in just especially in like second half, just out hustle them, shoot threes on them. Texas making bad plays, bad shots, out of control of the basketball, and then kind of resulted in Rodney Terry losing his job, and then his replacement was the guy coaching the other side of him, Sean Miller. So I think Georgia didn't serve it. I know Mike White did a good job this year, especially in the first half, but, you know, I ain't think they deserve the tournament in anyways. And it kind of hurt some of these lower level teams like, you know, UC Irvine, UAB, and others, you know, they were kind of looking for that at-large bid and lower level, and they didn't get it because these SEC teams got this like, you know, SEC. And I live in SEC country. Right here. I'm an Alabama fan. But I'll be real. When I talk about the show leading up to the tournament, I didn't think they warned all these damn teams in the tournament in the first place. I didn't think Oklahoma deserved to get in. They had a great showing, but I didn't think they didn't deserve to get in. Texas, they were on the fence with me, and they got in, and they kind of showed why they didn't deserve to get in. Georgia, same boat. And then Arkansas, I didn't think they deserved to get in, but they showed over this past weekend that, they deserve to get in. They beat Kansas, another team not top on the same level, Texas. And boy, Kansas fans, woo, come talk to me. I don't know, Kansas. What's going on? I didn't live out that way in Kansas City, but talk to me. What happened what's going on out there? Mizzou, folks, same thing. What happened out there? What's going on? I love Dennis Gates, but you can't be losing on Dan Drake. And speaking of Drake, their head coach is going to Iowa to lead that program as well. Ben McCollum. Lead Drake to that big-time victory over Mizzou. Now he's off to Iowa to lead that program after they fired Fran McCaffrey after all those years. Finally. So, a lot of changes and stuff over the weekend. And, okay, I got my answer here. So I asked TS before the break, about McNeese and all that stuff. And he said, I touched on it a little bit on my show. Will Wade's stock went up despite the way he left LSU. McNeese should have found the next up-and-comer because they showed they have the horses to run. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And then he also said the SEC was overhyped. LSU and South Carolina went only 16-9 in tourney. A lot of Philly teams. Yeah, I definitely agree. And like I just touched on, were some of these other teams that were in or now playing the NIT, did they deserve to get in? I thought SCMU was a tournament team, but they didn't get in my humble opinion. UAB, UC Irvine, I think another California team. I can't touch on it right now. Let me pull it up. And you look at the men's NIT. Stanford, you come out, argue your case. Who else I'm looking around? Yeah, UC Irvine. UC Riverside, I thought about. North Texas. Arkansas State. So it's like a few other teams I would swap out some of those SEC teams with. And, like you alluded to, LSU and South Carolina, they were the bottom of the base in the SEC this year. And, next year, I know the SEC gonna get a lot of pub and stuff like that, but I think now the committee and folks like that saying, we put these lower level SEC teams in last year and they got mollywopped. So, and also, before I get to my other subject here, talking about this, for these other conferences, you got to show up better. The ACC, Big 12, Big 10. Now, some of y'all probably saying, why are you saying the Big 10? They got a bunch of teams at the SEC. Some of the Big Ten teams are just, we're going to be real about that. after this first weekend, we'll see how things shake out for the Big Ten. I'm pulling up right now. If I look at it right now for the Big Ten, Colorado State is up 3 on Maryland right now, 62-59. Let's put that game on right now. They're up right now on 3 against Maryland. Gotta be better than that. Ole Miss up 28-20 against Iowa State right now. And then you got the 2 closing games, Michigan State, New Mexico. Could be an upset right there. And then you got another Big Ten team, Oregon, Arizona. Very weird to say that, but you got that matchup there. So, to me, I say more the media overhyped the SEC. I think the media kind of really went overboard with it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be good in their teams for the future in this ever-expanding field. Maybe it won't hurt them next year, but I think next year, with the lack of Cinderella and stuff like that, I think you see more of these Cinderella type of teams make the tournament next year over these SEC teams and make them fighting down the chitlin circuit down in NIT. And shout out to Marcus Locke in the chat as well. How you doing tonight, sir? Now, having said all that, out of the number 1 seeds between Duke, Auburn, Houston, and Florida, out of these 4 teams, who do y'all think is the favorite to win it all? Now, I still got Florida winning it all. They still made it through the weekend. But out of the number 1 seeds, who do y'all think will win? If you kind of look at each case of each team right here. Duke, probably maybe look the strongest, come out the weekend. Cooper Flag looking great, kind of dispelling my worries about his ankle and coming to the tournament and stuff like that. He looked pretty damn good. Auburn, kind of looked shaky against Alabama State in the first half, but kind of rebounded. Again, a little shaky in the first half against Creighton, but rebounded strong in the second half. Janai Broome, pull his stats up. Oh, come on. Janai Broome, 8 points for him in that matchup against Creighton, 12 rebounds for him in that matchup as well. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up his Saturday stats. There we go. And then Broome in that matchup, they had 14 points against Alabama State. So not like the 20 and 10 we saw for Broome for most of the year in the first weekend, but making impacts on defensively, making impacts, rebounding the ball, stuff like that. Kind of help Auburn along the way, despite him not scoring his best down low. So you got that right there. Houston, who looked very strong against SIU. Then against Gonzaga, they looked very strong in the first half. And then kind of let Gonzaga in it, but they kind of pulled through. Now you got against a Purdue team next Saturday. They look pretty strong right now. And then you got Florida. Handled Norfolk State pretty easily. Came back, won against UConn 77-75 against the 2-time defending national champs. And now they with the winner of Colorado State and Maryland, who are tied up right now, 64 all. So if you're Florida, you know, do you want to see the smaller Colorado State team, or do you want to see the bigger Maryland team? Maryland team that really don't shoot the ball well at times like this, or Colorado State team that you can use your size to dominate and beat them down low. I'm pretty sure you probably won't see that one. I'm pretty sure Todd Gunn probably don't care who he sees, as long as they just throw the ball up and play. So if I just kind of lay it out right there, who's the strongest in my eyes going to Sweet 16 weekend? I gotta give it to Duke. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Duke supporter and stuff like that, but you know, they may one of the more consistent teams this year. And yes, all the three of these teams are consistent, but I think Cooper Flag kind of gave me assurances that, okay, this team can win the championship. You know, and I went with Florida to win the championship because I think, you know, across the board, this team's more well-rounded. And they don't get that one guy that you can take over at points. But with Duke, they're well-rounded as well. But Cooper Flag gives them that edge. You know what I'm saying? And now with them, Cooper Flag playing well and all that stuff, and whoever they play out of Arizona, Oregon, I'm not saying they got the easiest path to the Final Four, but damn it, it's kind of looking like it. And right now, Maryland's at the line with 3 minutes left in the game, 65-64. And Julian Reese is at the line, made 2-2 at free throw line. The younger brother, Angel Reese, who is the former star at LSU, used to play, started at Maryland. Now is at then went to LSU. Now sophomore for the Chicago Sky and WNBA. And he made 2 or through. And now we're at 240 right now against Colorado State. And I think one thing Maryland got to do here the last couple minutes, use that size to their advantage. And right there, Reese out there in the middle with a nice bunny with the left hand. So they got to use that size down stretch here. And shot goes up for Colorado State, rebound Maryland. And one thing about Maryland is like they get to the Sweet 16, but that's their cap here the past few years. Like they get to the Sweet 16 and stuff like that, but after that, it's like the bottom falls out for them. So if they get matched up against Florida, you know, can they exercise them demons and kind of get past the Sweet 16 and get to the Elite Eight for the first time in many, many years? Clifford for Colorado State drove the lane and got the foul, so he's going to the line with 1:36 left. So back to the number 1 seeds, though. For y'all, I mean, I think Duke's the strongest. If I had to rake them, Duke is my strongest. Florida number 2, Houston number 3, and then Auburn number 4. If I had to rank the number 1 seeds coming out of the tournament and how they are left, I got Duke 1, Florida 2, Houston 3, Auburn 4. And I think, you know, for me, why I got Auburn ranked so low, I think they can get got. I mean, Janai Broome made the only A game, and the other guys ain't doing their job as well. I think Auburn can get got. But I think they're so good, everything else, that as we just talked about Broome, You don't need his scoring to win the game. But for me, for Houston, I think Houston has been a more consistent team in the tournament the past few years over Auburn, in my eyes. So that's why I got them up there. Florida, I think I just got, just caught in the wave of, just recent biases and how they played and stuff like that, especially against my Alabama and stuff like that. So I got them number 2 and Duke number 1. That I think as number 1 seed, they could possibly win the championship. All these guys right here. So, like I said, we'll see. We'll talk about it on Twitter and stuff like that. Come talk about it on the show and all that stuff. How do the number 1 seed stack up for the rest of the tournament, stuff like that. All right. Last segment. I'm going to take my last break. Last segment, touch on the women, stuff like that. Remaining thoughts on the live games going on right now. So this is Fast Break here live for iSports Radio. You're the for all sports. And I'll catch you on the other side.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports. And I will update you on all that's black and gold, have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back here to Fast Break here live for iSports Radio. You're doing for all sports. And to kind of close off things, Maryland and Colorado State going down to the wire with Maryland making taking a 3-point shot, with Reese making a rebound and getting the foul, which could be close to over the back on Reese. Shot goes up. Yeah, never mind. The defender, yeah. He held him when he was trying to go for the rebound. So yeah. If 21 for Colorado State, look like David Rowdy's brother. The 21 for Colorado State will box him out and push him out. If 21 from Mememba for Colorado State will box out Reese there, he could have got the rebound there. And they could be playing for the final shot to win the game. So Reese with the rebound, and he's potentially going to the line and maybe seal the deal for Maryland. Other games going on. New Mexico State, Michigan State. New Mexico up 16-11 on Michigan State right now in the first. Iowa State down double digits to Mississippi State. I don't got my glasses on, so don't look at me that way. So I'm gonna stay on to at least this game is over with. I think if you're Colorado State, you got to box out. You got to use your body and box these bigger guys out. And if you're the coach of Colorado State, maybe put some signs in to kind of neglect that. I'm gonna put my glasses on for this. So Reese is at the line, and boom, he got a nice stroke right there. Beautiful touch right there. 1-for-1 right there. They're up 68-69. Maryland is on Colorado State with 22 seconds left to go. Shoot bad free throws and sister. I'll say that. All right, 20 seconds left. Colorado State with the ball with 2 timeouts left. So we'll see what they do with that. Guards up the top of the key. Got the screen down. Oh, somebody's open. They took timeout with 11 seconds left. So the screen and roll was there with Mbemba, but the guard got double team got caught in double team right there at the top of the key. So Colorado State, if the inbound don't come clean, they'll partially play for the last shot right there. So, you know what I mean, Marcus. I mean, just nice touch, all that stuff. Nice fall through all that stuff. You know, got it back. Hey, shoot back. Look, form a little better than sisters. I mean, he can shoot the ball very well for free throw line. Sister at times, you have to wonder about that. You know what I'm saying? You have to wonder about that. I guess the good shouldn't touch skipped her and went to him. Damn, I got some brother on TV like praying hard. Some ball head dude. But I have to read that up. Hey, you can shoot the ball well, and your sister don't shoot the ball well. And y'all both play, and y'all both big men in a sense. But hopefully, Angel worked on that during the offseason, playing the 3-on-3 league and stuff like that. I hope she worked on that and kind of be more persuasive with Chicago this next year, with Cardona down low. All right. Colorado State ready to inbound the ball. Do they go for a 2 or 3 here? It's like Maryland's got confused on defense. Okay, inbound the ball, post up. They're going for the 3, and he got it. Oh, he got it. Big time shot for Maryland. Colorado State. They're gonna take a timeout. Colorado State up by 1. Big time shot by Lake there. Big time. Colorado State going for the juggler. They want to win. They ain't want to go to overtime with this team. Maryland fans, y'all, they ain't shot. They showing one dude on TV. He on shot. Now, and let them wide open. You can't leave the guard open like that. I mean, I know you're trying to help on the double team, but it seemed like they were more worried about the other guy down low on the other side of the. So if you're Maryland, where do you go to here? You know, if you're Maryland, where you go to the last possession? Do you go You got 3 seconds. Do you try to find something down low? Do you maybe try to find a alley-oop pass to Reese or what's that kid's name? That's top prospect. Let me pull it up. Hold on. What's that kid's name from Maryland? To Derek Queen. Do you find something for him down low? Do you set Derek Queen up with the screen to one of your guards or whatnot, or maybe set a screen for Reese down low, something like that, to maybe draw a foul, to at least give you a chance to go to overtime. I think the play may go to Derek Queen here. So I'm sorry for a lot of dead air here, but 3 seconds left in the game. You got to stay on this. So curious what to do in the inbound. They had no timeouts left, so they got to get the ball in. Colorado State have one timeout left. There we go. Screen action. Boom. Play goes to Queen. He goes up. Layup. Backboard. Oh, he made it! Queen with the shot to win the game for Maryland. You go to your best player and you win the game. What a shot to send Maryland to the Sweet 16. It was well defended too. Very well defended. Man. That was big time. Big time shot by Queen, who was a potential lottery pick. And he showed right there in big time situations, hey, you can throw me the ball, I can win you the game. Caught the ball top high, dribbled it down. Maybe got with the walk, but release the shot, use the backboard. Boom, won that game. That's clutch basketball right there, ladies and gentlemen. Bam, bam. Use that big 6'10" frame. Off the backboard, beautiful, wonderful shot right there. Like that play was just, that ball was going straight to Queen. It was going to nobody else. I mean, yeah, it was going to nobody else. Now, words, I think they probably maybe have him draw a foul. I guess that had to be old boys' parents because they keep showing them for Colorado State. So, once again, Kevin Willard going to the Sweet 16 again, first time since 2016. So, can Kevin Willard get past the hump, past Florida, and get this team to the Elite Eight? We'll see. But man, what a shot by Queen right there. Big time shot for him. And this is a heartbreaker for Colorado State there. Before I get out of here, I'm going to touch on the women's real quick. And let me get my words there. And for the women's side of things, real quick, just kind of looking at that landscape around the tournament for the women's. The first weekend, it's like beat downs. You kind of expected it. Now you get to the next round when the field shortens, and now you get the more competitive games, stuff like that. Now we're kind of talking, who belongs and what not. So, pulling up real quick. I'm trying to get out of here real quick because got thunderstorms going on, stuff like that. And so hopefully the feed don't get cut and all that good stuff. So I'm trying to get everything out of here real quick. But all like the real big upsets, like Georgia Tech getting beat down by Richmond in the first round, but no really big upsets, to be honest with you. You know, everybody thought Grand came out upset Baylor in the first round, which didn't happen. And Molly Miller, she's gone to Arizona State. Everybody thought, you know, she would be prior candidate for Auburn or Arkansas, something like that. But once you live in the West Coast and stuff like that, in that area, it's very hard to come back to the other side like that. And her being enriched in Arizona and stuff like that, going down to Tempe was an easy choice for her. LSU, like I said, beat down at San Diego State. Michigan, they get by Harvard, all that stuff. And then you go to the second round and stuff like that. Kentucky, who barely skated by Liberty, they lose to 1 to Kansas State. So Kenny Brooks and squad, a team that I had going a little bit deep in the tournament. I like Kenny Brooks, but you know, kind of tough draw right there with Kansas State right there. Also looking around. UConn, like I said, they beat down Arkansas State. You're supposed to be beat down teams like that. Now they got, you know, South Dakota State team that look at the chance to upset them. I don't see it happening, but they got a chance. You know, South Carolina skated by Indiana today, 64-53. And they wait the winner of Alabama and Maryland tomorrow. If I got that right. Yeah, tomorrow. Then you got North Carolina, Duke, who skated by Oregon today. You know, I have Vanderbilt winning that first matchup, but it didn't happen. So, you know, Texas beat down William Mary. So, with the women's, you know, the first weekend, it's a toss-up for the most part. Second round, now we get the meat and potatoes, everything. Like right now, Tennessee's up in the third quarter, 48-37 against Ohio State. TCU, Laura, what's that girl's name? Van Lev got revenge over old school, Louisville. She had a double-double. I'm trying to pull the box score. Van Lev, she had like 60 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds against her former squad. God knows if they get matched up with LSU, she might try and go off on them. So for the women's side of things, I think things are part of the course. And I think, you know, until we get to Sweet 16 matchups, you know, we'll see how things shake out for everybody. Notre Dame won today against Michigan, won by double digits. TCU, Notre Dame, collision course. That's going to be a great matchup. You know, right there. You know, North Carolina, Duke, potential collision course in the Sweet 16. Can Alabama get past Maryland in that talented squad and get matched up with South Carolina there? Potential. So, for the women's side of things, Ole Miss get a big win against Baylor. And then you got UCLA playing Richmond later on, which UCLA should dominate that game. So, for the women's side of things are picking up interesting in this next round, in the Sweet 16 and so forth. Not in the first round. I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. The men's, you know, always more compelling in the first round because of the upsets. With the women's, it don't happen too much, except for South Dakota State here. So, for our guy here, like I said, Maryland won a big-time shot against Colorado State at the end there. Got the other games going on as well. So you got the other games going on right now. New Mexico State, that matchup going on. They just recapping the final shot. I'm sorry about the dead air, but I was trying to get mine. Ole Miss is up on Iowa State right now. New Mexico's up 10 against Michigan State. And then the other game will tip off here momentarily in about 20 minutes. Arizona and Oregon. So follow us on here at Fast Break ISR on Twitter. We'll give you a lot of updates and give our thoughts on the show, on the games going on right now as they progress right now. So we'll see if Ole Miss can make the Sweet 16. Or can Iowa State kind of live up to their billing for once and make it to Sweet 16. Cupertino out in New Mexico upset Michigan State. Michigan State, when they get in these positions in top seeds and stuff like that, you normally fold, but I got a little more faith in this Michigan State squad. So we'll see how it goes. It's still 7:57 left in the game that there. And then Oregon, Arizona, former Pac-12 rivals. We'll see how that thing shake out. I do got Arizona winning that game right there in that side of things. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our show tonight. Thank you for tuning in with us. Like I said, D-Locke will be with us next week. If he's not, it's all good. He's handling some personal business, but hopefully he'll be back next week with us. But do him a favor, though. Follow him on Twitter /X at Black-813. As Black-813. Also, do follow him on Instagram as well, and that's game handle as well, right there. Do follow me on Twitter /X at 42. That's 42 as X/Twitter as well. And also, iSports Radio on all your social media feeds: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're on there. Our hockey video on TikTok is kind of gone viral for us. Some person mad about the shot and all that stuff. But it's gone viral for us, man. So do check us out on TikTok. And then also do check out iSportsRadio.com for all your close news and feeds on there as well. Catch wherever podcast you use, Spotify, whatever, to catch all your shows as well. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, next week, Elite 8, Switch 16 talk, potentially speaking some NBA talk in there as well. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.